Too, I'm going to read a book about a story that comes from a book called Anna and the Bird. And I would really encourage you to come to next Sunday when Dearest Esther does her family time, because I have had the opportunity to watch and see Dearest Esther and how she brings out great enthusiasm. And one of my favorite gifts had always been a long time ago, a friend of ours, Paul's and mine, and for Christmas, and it still in my memory bank was the best Christmas present I ever got, is she would invite us over to her house and she would make us this fantastic meal. And then there would be, she had a fireplace and she'd say, sit down, and so Paul and I would sit next to each other. And then she would read us a story. And I felt like I was in the ethers somehow. And of all the Christmas presents that I've ever received from friends, I think that still pulsates through my whole essence of how intimate that was. And I think sometimes we get lost in technology. And I think that we get lost in our phones. And I think that we get lost so much that we don't look eye to eye with each other, and we don't tell either what our stories are to each other, and we don't tell stories anymore. So when we were preparing for the equinox and the spring to come out, that is the first thing I thought of, is let's do storytelling and make it really a family circle. So I was reading a book called Welcome Home, and this was the story, and I kind of shortened it. And I think Jean came in and said, are you hearing the birds? The birds are singing, the birds are singing, the birds are singing. So this, so I thought this was very, very good for the birds. And it's called Anna and the Bird. There was a little girl at a very, very, very young age who would go out into the garden and wait for the first bird of spring, of the season, to arrive. And sure enough, every morning that little girl would get up every morning and she would sit on a stool her grandfather made, and she would hold out her finger, waiting for the first bird to arrive. Soon, one day, when she was sitting on that stool in the garden, on that stool that her grandfather made, sure enough, because she had faith, her grandfather told her, if you are like the birds, if you are free, and you can fly, and you have that energy field of freedom, that bird will come and land on your finger. And sure enough, that bird did come and sit upon her finger. It was a beautiful bird. It would come on her finger and it would teach her many things about herself. They talked every morning. The bird gave Anna life lessons to complete. Anna carried out these lessons joyfully, even though some of those lessons meant you have to change certain things about yourself, Anna. You have to do certain things, Anna. Bless you. You have to be a certain way, Anna. The bird constantly reminded her that she held the power to change her reality through her choices. This small, brown, beautiful bird would breathe magic into the life of this young girl every morning. Day after day after day, it added to more magic in her life. Anna's life was changing. Anna thought that the bird was changing her life. But one day when she sat out in the stool, and she always would say, of which my grandfather made, that she thought the bird was changing her. But what Anna was doing is following what the bird was talking to her about. And Anna was making different choices. One morning, Anna looked back and realized how far she had come. In just a few months, she had made more progress towards happiness than she had in all of her previous 12 years of her life. With that realization, she thanked the bird for the gift of magic it had given her. She grew up constantly. Pretty soon she was a teenager. Pretty soon she grew up to be an adult, going out there on her grandfather's stool out in the garden. And the bird responded, "Dear one, I cannot give you that which you already possess. My job was a mirror for you to see your true self and remember your own power. Please, please never lose sight of the fact that the power to change is within you and not out of you. You have chosen to exercise this power, and therefore you have changed your own reality." The highlight of Anna's life was to spend that short time every morning with the bird, remembering her true power. The love she had for this beautiful, simple creature was overwhelming. Rain or shine, Anna spent every morning in that garden, setting the tone of her day with the teacher she had grown to love so dearly. Anna's life was good because of this. One morning, Anna awoke even earlier than she was accustomed to. She felt a shift in the energy, but was not sure what was happening. She remembered what the bird had told her about energy shifts and how this was the way humans evolved. She remembered that the bird had told her that change was a necessary part of spiritual advancement. For without change, all things eventually die. It is actually change that creates the magic that we seek. These thoughts circled in her head, and she carefully formed the questions that she would ask the bird during their magical time together. When the time arrived, Anna walked expectantly into the garden and held her finger out in front of her. But that morning, the bird did not come. But she was puzzled because one of the first things the bird had told her was that it would never leave her. Still, here she stood, all by herself in the garden. Anna tried talking to the bird, pretending it was there. She could even feel the familiar tickle as it perched on her finger. But every time she formulated a question now to ask, the answer magically appeared from her heart. Suddenly, Anna understood that the real gift the bird had given her was the competence to trust her own inner guidance, rather than looking to an external source for answers. Every morning, Anna continued to perform her ritual of going into the garden and holding her finger out in front of her. For weeks after, Anna continued her ritual in the garden, and not a day passed when she did not think of her friend, the little bird. For the first time in a long while, Anna wept, but her tears were bittersweet. She was sad to think that her finger would never support that bird again. But in her heart, she knew that their connection would never be lost. In teaching her to trust in her own inner guidance, the bird had also given Anna the key to walking as a spirit in human form. One day, the bird once again appeared. Tears of joy filled Anna's eyes as once again she heard the beautiful sound of her dear friend's voice. "I am so proud of you. for the choices that you have made every day. You could have stayed forever watching your finger, waiting for the guidance that you are accustomed to receiving from the outside. But you have decided to walk forward, trusting your own guidance. What you experienced was the integration of spirit through opening the connection to your own higher self. You are not separate from spirit as a human experience. You have not separated from spirit as your human experience would have you believe. You are not separate from me. We are indeed one. You have done well, dear Anna. You have completed your highest purpose in learning to integrate the human with the divine. The miracle of Anna's life was now complete, and so it is. I love stories. I love reading. And I love this particular story because we will meet teachers who are sitting right beside you right now. You will meet people on your journey of your labyrinth who will be your teachers. And you will come to teachers, and you will go here, and you will go there. But what the shift is happening right now upon the planet, this gorgeous, wonderful, magnetic shift that is happening upon our planet right now, is the shift to go inside of you. To spend time inside of you. To be quiet with the inside of you. To recognize your magnificence on the inside of you. To realize that energetic field that is inside of you. To know that the cosmic intelligence is inside of you. To know that your Christ is inside of you. To know that the great goddess is inside of you. My friends, my family, we come to the Hope Interfaith Center. The purpose of this is to bring you home inside of you. Inside of you. Inside of you. I know when people say my churches are my home. No. Because there will be change. There are changes now occurring. Some of our family members will be moving and traveling. Sometimes we will leave our friends and our friendships, and we will feel lost. And the only reason why we have a tendency to feel lost is we must go to the garden, like Anna, and sit in the garden, like Anna, and find a stool, like Anna. And it might be a rock. It might be something our grandfather or grandmothers have made. It might be the shawl or a scarf that your mother gave you. It might be something that your great-grandmother has brought down through the ages. During this time when there is such an enormous shift upon the planet, go to the garden with anything that you feel that is your stool and sit there. And then allow yourself every day to tune in. Really tune in to this cosmic, higher intelligence, this magnificence, this healing essence that is of your own soul. And then if it is a shawl of your grandmother's, or if it is something of your grandfather, or if it's something of your mother's, or a best friend, or a stool that's your grandfather, allow them to tell you, good job. You're trusting. You're finally trusting what you need to do, who you are. When you need to quit a job, when you need to say no, and when you need to say yes. Trust that. Because every time you come here to the Hope Interfaith Center, whether it is for yoga, meditations, even the Providence Partner, energetically, it is just all about giving you a space and a place to dwell within, to hear this magnificent echo from your own soul, your higher self, that will guide you every step of the way. You are not alone. We are not alone. And when you allow that cosmic energy to direct you, when you put away your computers, shut down your phones, put your little gadgets away, my hope is also, again, I'm going to encourage you to come next Sunday. Bring the children to the garden. Bring your nieces and your nephews to the garden. Bring your nephews and your next door neighbor kids to the garden. We are the examples of them either going to their computers or going to the garden. We are their examples for them. And so when you invite them to the garden, do you hear that? Do you hear that? Do you hear that? What, Grammy? What, Grammy? Do you hear what your soul is saying to you today? Do you hear what that little whisper is inside of you?
I gotta go. Thank you so much.
Bring them to the garden. Bring them to the garden. Bring them to the garden. So just for a moment, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to bring yourself to your own personal garden, whatever that might be. Where's your sacred spot? And maybe you have several sacred spots, but I just want you to go inside of your own soul. And just for today, if you like, if you are willing, make a promise to your soul, your higher self, your cosmic self, your higher intelligence, that you're going to listen to it, that you're going to trust it, and that you're going to be in joy with it, laugh with it, Have fun with it. Be spontaneous with it. Be in not any type of lack or limitations, but unlimited, the possibilities galore. The pregnancy of listening to your soul and the expansion of it. Tell your soul, I will come to you. And I will listen to you. Even if it's just like little Anna. Waking up in the morning just a little bit earlier and spending time in the garden every single day to get centered. And so it is, and so it shall be. Page 11, Rainbow Connection.